our title is 30 million in revenue with only 6 employees. And just to quickly introduce Peak Support, we are outsourced customer support and experience operations, so onshore, nearshore, offshore customer support and experience teams. And so Ismail, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. I'm Ismail. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Wildgrain. We're the first bake from frozen subscription box for bread, pasta, and pastries. We started in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I have. So as our unwritten title suggests, you found quite a bit of traction since starting right around that COVID time period. So can you talk us through a little bit, what has the growth been like? Who are your target customers?
Yes, so my wife and I started this business in 2020, coming out of a failed business in 2019 because of the whole COVID pandemic hitting China. And we were thinking about launching a subscription business because we were traumatized by the previous way we kind of funded our business, designed it in the past, and then we focused on this very basic hypothesis. We wanted a subscription box because it enables this long tail revenue model, allows you to spend more money in marketing. It also makes it very bootstrappable and very easy to reach profitability, or easier to reach profitability quicker. And so we started bouncing ideas, and we decided on bread, pasta, and pastries because it's a commodity from the supermarket that people eat a lot. It's 54% of our diet. And we launched in 2020 with a newborn during the pandemic. We raised a small round, and then we went for it. I was insane at the beginning. We replaced our baby room with flour and nuts and stuff, literally, and the baby was sleeping with us. Because if you remember well, the first few weeks of COVID, you couldn't find flour anywhere. So we started then, and then fast forward, started growing very fast. We couldn't keep the demand. We started partnering with bakeries and pasta makers and pastry makers to help us build the product, and we would train them on it, and etc. And then we got very quickly, with just the 4 of us, to I think first year we did $200,000, second year we did 9 million, third year we're doing 30 million, and we're profitable as of May this year.
Yeah, congratulations. And who is like what you've learned about the demographic for this product at this point?
It skews female because in most households, online shopping for groceries is done by female. It's 70%, 30 for us. Baby boomers first, and then a funny thing happened. We were very health-centric when we started, so we're big on sourdough. It's all artisanal. It's all better for your health. It's 100 times better than Wonder Bread. And so we got a lot of baby boomers. And then in the second year, we launched this free croissants for life promo. And then it flipped. It was back when Facebook allowed you to see the demo data. And we saw the switch between millennials and baby boomers. So that's interesting. So right now it's a mix between baby boomers and and millennials.
You kind of touched on it a little bit. To be profitable, you've kept your team internally super small. Was that always the plan, kind of going in? How did that strategy develop?
So one of our biggest mentor is Mike Salguero, who started ButcherBox. He started it, raised zero money, or raised Kickstarter, and took it to 600 million in 7 years without external capital. And so anytime I was making any decision, I would go to him and it's like, hey, what do you think I should do? And his first thing is like, don't hire until it's really, really, really painful. Like, you can't hire. And so we stayed 4 of us, so me, my wife, who wasn't on payroll for a long time because of visa reasons, but and our VP of marketing and our VP of operations. And we stayed that way for 2.5 years with the help of Peak Support, who we our VP of marketing was doing customer support for a year, and then it was painful. And then we decided to basically stay super lean, try to outsource as much as we can. And we hired peak support. I remember it was like 2 team members from peak support that started helping us on customer support. We do frozen. And so frozen requires a lot of tickets, and it's perishable. And when it arrives not frozen, you need to take action very quickly, and there's a lot of food safety things. And so that helped. And so we built this kind of mantra of like outsource everything you can, but make it extremely trackable on a daily, if not daily, weekly basis, where you can see if your outsourcing partner is doing well, if they're failing at anything, if there are any errors or unsatisfactory things happening to our customers. And that's what I kind of spend a lot of time doing. I'm an engineer, so I solved it with tech. So I built dashboards for every team, including yours at the beginning, and tools for the team.
Yeah, so I think people will be a little bit interested at this point. What is your sort of network of providers? I know we're a pretty big 30-person team, but you've got bakeries, logistics. I mean, talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, I think if you count our fulfillment partners, so the packers, the bakers, the pasta makers, the pastry makers, the team in customer support, about 100 people working actively on getting the boxes ready and the experience great for our customers.
And you mentioned dashboards, but people would worry about losing control of product, experience. What would you say you've done well to maintain that connection with your small team being super in touch with such a complex operation?
Yeah, so basically every time we outsourced something, someone was really upset. Every time. So when they are scared, and rightfully so. So when we outsource products, my wife and I were making products in a commercial kitchen every day with a newborn, and it was unsustainable. It was during lockdown, and so I started calling people and say, hey, can you make this for us? And luckily they lost it, for us, they lost a ton of business because of COVID. They were making bread for, hotels and universities, and everything shut down. So they were like, yeah, sure, we'll make your weird frozen bread. And we started doing that, and my wife was very upset. She's like, the quality is not going to be there. And so we built systems to make sure that the breads are always good, and we do quality control, and it's a very strict onboarding process on the ingredients, on the quality, and testing and QA. And then same thing happened for CX. We had to hire a CX team. And Ali was like, but I hop on the phone with every new member. I have this tone that I don't want to lose. And so we spent, I think we were one of the most annoying clients you probably had on training. Because we wanted everything to be right. And so Ali spent a lot of time training the team, but also building the tools to see how the agents are doing, what the quality of the tickets. We do a lot of audits, a lot of metrics. Now we have a very fancy dashboard that you guys helped us build. But at the beginning, that was kind of it. And for ops, it's the same thing. We started partnering with fulfillment partners. We were packing our own boxes first. And so we're good at it, but then when you outsource this, you lose control. And so you kind of establish these KPIs. We trained the peak support team to tag every defect in the box. It could be open packaging, it could be crushed box, anything that could happen is tracked and then monitored on a weekly basis by our VP of operation, and he can just take action very quickly to fix issues as they emerge.
Yeah, I would say you guys are unique, but you're not unique in your being nervous about letting go of your customer experience, earning that trust, and our ability to replicate the brand voice in the first couple of agents. But then now that we're at 35 or so, I guess we've earned the trust to kind of train people and bring them on for you.
Yeah, I don't know if every BPO does this, but one of the key things we required when we started working with you guys is that the team is our team. So they are on our Slack. They come to stand up. They are just at the end, we ended up asking you guys to promote a member of the team to become our head of CX, because she knew the company better than me, better than anyone. She was having phone calls with people. She just knew our members. And so she got kind of virtually promoted to be head of CX, even though she's still on your payroll.
Yeah. And so you're doing more than just, with peak support and our team that we have working together, there's more than just the support part. There's several aspects. You want to talk through that a little bit?
Yeah, same thing. We kept this thing, like every time we have the desire to hire to improve something, or like, can we do it with what we have instead of just finding a new person? And it takes time and money, and we really wanted to reach profitability. So we started thinking about business processes, and you guys do CX very well, but we started adding more things. Retention is key to us. We're a subscription business. 50% of our members order a box every month. And so serving these 45,000 people is tricky. And so what we built is a retention team within the peak support team that we train to do. So I built automations to have review follow-ups. So every time we have a review that's less than 4 stars, it goes straight to Gorgeous. It creates a ticket on Gorgeous, and they need to follow up with it. Every time there's a replacement box that got delivered to someone that had a problem before, a peak support agent would go and call them and say, hey, how did the replacement arrive? And all these little things add up. We do it for cancellation requests. We have a whole protocol for handling cancellations when they come via email or text. And so we built that retention team, and then another pillar came up was on the operations team. Our operations got pretty big, and we shipped more than 4 million loaves of bread. We needed, basically what we needed is a team that can handle the hiccups when they happen with the fulfillment centers. And so our VP of operations built his own team within peak support that the advantage is that they're in the Philippines, so they can do it before we wake up. So when the problems happen, when Recharge, our subscription software, reloads all the orders at night, they see them, they see if there's any problems. We have scripts that do that, and then they can just cancel them, ask the fulfillment centers to get them out of the line and things like that. And we have an affiliate program that's run also on peak support's team, which basically we have this approach to affiliates, which is interesting, I think. A lot of people would cherry pick the affiliates or the influencers they work with. We don't do that. We do kind of a volume system where we vet just that they're safe and they are not, crazy. And then we would contact them. We have a sequence that asks them if they want a free box to promote our product. We send them the product, and then they promote it, and we have a software to track if they're promoting it or not. And then we track their conversions and give them a commission. When you do that, you realize that, at first our gut feel was like we should do influencers in food or in whatever. It turns out that it doesn't matter which influencers are working and promoting your product. They can be in fashion, they can be in food, they can be in home decor. Home decor does very well for us. Has nothing to do with bread. And so, yeah, the peak support help team does all that work. So we design the processes, we make them very solid, very robust. I'm a proponent of everyone should go on the ticket line and replies to tickets and test these processes. And then we review them, and we have constant audits to see if they're still working. And I think those are like the main pillars we have for the team.
And just while we're thinking about the customer experience, like Stack, you're on Gorgeous. What are you using as far as other aspects of the tech stack? What areas are you interested to do more, maybe on the technology side?
So a lot of what we do, because I come from tech, I built a lot of this stuff on top. I built like an e-commerce backend that's custom built for frozen deliveries. So we track weather data. So if it's more than 110 degrees, we're gonna hold your order, and we're gonna send you an email automatically through Klaviyo. Where if we calculate the amount of dry ice based on where you live. So if it's a 3-day transit, we're probably gonna put 4 blocks of dry ice instead of just 2. So it helps with profitability. Same thing, we're obsessed with it. So it helps you with, at the end of the month, you're happy because you see COGS and you see your EBITDA and you're like, okay, this worked. And then we do it for a lot of the CX stuff are automated. So if we see that UPS sent us a tracking with your box being damaged or delayed, we'll automatically send you an email through Klaviyo saying, hey, your box may be damaged, just setting up the expectations. When you receive it, please let us know. it is actually damaged and we'll make it right. And we built kind of like a layer for every team. So I built a lot of tools for CX for them to be more efficient too. So like you're all familiar with Shopify. If you have a replacement order to create, you'll have to go create a draft order, and it takes like 40 clicks to do it. Now we built a form that you just enter the order that failed, and then my API would just recreate a replacement order with more dry ice and like make sure that this one is going to arrive safely. And then I built the same tools for the marketing team to track how our affiliates are doing, our influencers are doing. And then I built the same thing for operations, where they can do like bulk holds. So like everything that has this SKU, just hold it. It doesn't go out to Shopify, to our fulfillment centers. And same thing for product. We do a lot of analytics for demand planning, what's selling, what's the velocity. And because we use Recharge, we can ping the Recharge API and see what we're gonna sell next month. So kind of my nugget here is, if you can do subscription, you have to. If you don't know if it's gonna work, just try it. Build a separate landing page, do a Recharge integration, try it. If it works, it's gonna change your business, because you're gonna save so much time and money on managing your inventory, on being less worried when growth is not working, because you have your member base just reordering every month. Anyway, I went on a tangent there, but I always want to give that nugget first. It was one of the most precious ones I had from Mike Salguero. He was like, don't do the subscribe and save. Make a different product that's just subscription. And one of the things we do at the end, just to reassure the transactional founders out there, you can still sell a transactional product after. So what we do, for example, is we try to sell you a subscription. We have a big email gate. You can't see the price of the product in our store without entering your email. It's a UX nightmare, but it works. And then you have this huge email list, and you don't need to spend money on Facebook to do retargeting. You have these emails, and so you keep trying to sell them the subscription. If after 35 days they didn't buy it, you tell them, okay, you can buy it one time, and and if they don't buy that, you can do a discount after that. And so you can kind of inverse the subscribe and save thing right there, but I can tangent over.
So before we go to questions, 1, 2 questions, perfect. Yeah, we can go to questions now. Yeah.
So I feel like the concept of like not hiring until it's really painful could kind of contradict the mentality of like hire so that whoever joins the team can take you to heights that maybe you didn't anticipate, or maybe you're like hiring with almost the intention of overstaffing just so someone can kind of get you to that next level. Was there any point where you like had a challenge within your gut of like, man, it would be really nice to have someone in this role, but it's not painful, so I'm just going to listen to that advice?
Yeah, every day. Every day it's like, oh, it would be so nice to have someone just taking care of email. But for me, the question I always ask myself is like, all right, I'm going to spend $100 grand on this person. Are they going to make me 5x that? I need that. If they're making 5x, then yeah, makes total sense. If they're not, all we care about is profitability, not growth, nothing else. We were like, we can grow faster when we're profitable, but we need to hit that, the control of the companies is very important. My previous business, it comes from trauma, so maybe that's why I'm like dogmatic about it. But in my previous company, I did everything the VC said. I got the metrics, I got the deck, I went back, and they're like, we're done with the hardware, we're not investing in this anymore, and pitched like more than 100 VCs, and the company just got underfunded. So that's when that thing is always on my mind when I'm like, oh, it would be tempting to have like 3 more people to help us. Which is usually I go to George and I was like, you think we can do this with peak support? And he's like, okay.
Hi, I'm Josh Himwich from Healthy Baby. Obviously, churn must be like your biggest thing that you're looking at. So I'm just curious, as someone who's been doing this now for a few years, like what has been like probably the best thing that you've done to mitigate churn?
It happened this year. So this year, when we started, churn was 20%. So 2020. Now we're at 6.2, and it's frozen, so it's very hard. it's kind of like a multilateral fight you have to do. So you need to improve your ops. We did that. We opened more fulfillment centers. We have now 5. We opened regional carriers, so we don't use just UPS. There's regional carriers that can beat UPS on transit.
Is that both for freshness or is it speed of delivery?
Speed of delivery.
Yeah.
So from ButcherBox, we learned that speed of delivery is highly correlated to churn. So if you have a 3-day transit, you're way more likely to cancel and if you were a 1-day transit. And then we did customer support CSAT. So basically we monitor CSAT all the time, and when CSAT is at less than 4.6, it's not good. Churn is affected. So you need to keep CSAT at 4.8, and that's what we do. And then we do a lot of the marketing that we do is about seasonality and trying to convince you that we're helping you making your meals and planning your meals, and it's easier than meal kits and all of that. Where's the HelloFresh guy? It's gone. Okay. And so we do all of that stuff, and then so ops, and then products, same thing. Like we diversified we heard what people wanted, and so they wanted customization, for example. So at first we started with a curated model because we didn't have the money to spend on all that inventory. And then people were like churning because they wanted to customize their box, so we launched custom box. And the last thing is just variety of products. People like soft bread, some people like nice sourdough crusts, and so we kind of, you do whatever they want, and then they stay.
Got it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm the founder of Bordery, and we actually have a very similar business model, and we ship a perishable product.
I know Bordery.
Yeah, entirely to your growth story, because we have kind of a similar path. I'm actually curious what you guys do shipping a perishable product. We ship overnight. We've used FedEx. We've used UPS. What do you do with customers? How do you manage that when there's delays? Because that seems to be our biggest CX issue is like, it's not here exactly the day. We let people choose delivery dates on our website because a lot of our products are gifts. So it's become a huge CX issue with just like, what do we do with these delays?
You ship refrigerated, right? Not frozen.
Yes, we ship refrigerated. And frozen, I commend you because that's even harder.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing we did, we had the same problem when we started. We had one fulfillment center, which was the commercial kitchen where we were working from.
Yeah.
And so we were getting orders from California, and we were like, this is $200 overnight. We're not making any money. So we stopped marketing. We did this thing where every Facebook rep was telling us, don't do it. We were marketing only where we're making money when we ship, when we're ground shipping. So we started marketing in New England, and as we open new fulfillment centers, we opened up these states. And it did this amazing thing, by the way, in growth. They would just like, when they light up, it just goes like crazy.
Right.
And then you need to build like a logistics network for refrigerated that gets 95% of your customers under 2 days, and then you're fine. And so I don't know how.
You actually ship in trucks that are refrigerated, or you're just overnighting?
We're not overnighting.
Not overnighting. Okay.
We put, that's the kind of maybe the problem with the refrigerated dry ice. Every 5 pound of dry ice gets you 1 day in transit.
Right.
And so if you could put 10 pounds, you get 2 days in transit. It's pretty reliable. The temperature is really controlled.
Yeah, so you just ship through normal UPS network.
UPS
we do
ground.
the same with FedEx. We have 48-hour packaging that
Move
lasts
to
and
UPS,
keeps it
I would
cold.
say. I don't know how much they changed, but Mike Salguero told me they started with UPS, moved to FedEx, and then moved back to UPS because the SLAs were better at UPS.
Yeah, we try to kind of balance both, but I guess how do you handle the customer experience when inevitably there is a delay, especially during like the holiday season, for example, with FedEx? Like, have you developed a specific system to manage and handle delays? Because obviously with like any other product, if it's sitting on someone's doorstep for 24 hours, or if it's stuck in a fulfillment center because there's a delay, it's fine. The product's going to arrive late. The customer might be upset, but they're not needing to be sent a whole new product. But with our products, if it's out of temperature for a certain amount of time, you have to send a new one.
Yeah, you have to send a new one. And so what we do is we try to set expectations, and we don't let them choose the delivery date, we're very careful about wording. We tell them the order date, your charge date, but it's not your delivery date. and we try to be very predictable when they're gonna. We don't ship on Fridays, and we don't ship so that none of our boxes can arrive on a weekend. That important. If you do ship during the weekend, I recommend you stop because they are worse during the
They're
weekends,
worse
the
on
carriers.
Saturday. Yeah.
And so you ship we used to ship Monday through Thursday, and Thursday we only ship the one-day transits. And then we hold the other ones until Monday, and that sets kind of the expectation. You put that in your FAQ, you put that anywhere in your order not before checkout. After checkout, you tell them, hey,
Yeah.
this is not gonna arrive exactly when you wanted, but they can then tell you, hey, I'm not here, and you can hold that order later. Some of them will get upset, but we couldn't find a way around that.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, that was great. Thanks so much, guys. Give it up for Ismail and George.